So the weather has turned slightly warmer and it's sunnier every day, a little bit less rain. Most importantly, the clocks have gone forward, which for some isn't fun because you end up losing an hour of sleep. But on the flip side, you get an hour of extra sun at the end of the day. And that for me means one thing: going to the park in the evening just before I put the kids to bed so they can run out all their energy. And today I thought it would be nice to have some cheese scones in the park just as the sun goes down. Before I get any further into this video, I need to clear something up. As I mentioned in my previous scone video, it's scone and not scone. There is no place for scone here on this channel. It is only scone. I have gone into the details as to why I think that is. You'll have to watch that video. And now we can move on. I love cheese, as I'm sure many of you do. But unfortunately, I think the UK has a bad reputation when it comes to food. And I can understand that to a certain extent. But if you dig a little bit deeper and you have a good look at true British classics, from the beef Wellington to the humble mince pie to the sticky toffee pudding, and obviously classic scone, it just annoys me when the entire British cuisine is sort of swept under the carpet as just being not very good. And it's unfortunate that this has spread to our cheese scene as well. We win multiple awards yearly at some of the highest levels, but we're not really recognised up with Italy, France and Switzerland as having some of the best cheese in the world. Like we have Pancake Day, I really think we should have Cheese Scone Day. Everybody should be making a cheese scone with cheese which is regional to them. And obviously, you can't get much more British than a scone. And the two combined, I mean, it's heaven on a plate. I used 50% cheddar, mature cheddar, and 50% red Leicester. And I used supermarket cheese, which is okay, but it's nothing compared to the richness and depth of flavour that you get from a farmhouse cheese, a cheese that you can get from a cheesemonger. And if you can get hold of some regional cheese that you can only get in your area, I think that is fantastic. Now, I went with these two cheeses because they are commonly known in and around the UK, but you can really utilise anything you want. So as I'm sure you all know, cheese is one of humanity's oldest and most diverse foods. It takes science, it takes craft, and is deeply tied to culture. At its core, cheese is made by curdling milk from cows, goats, sheep, or even buffalo, and then separating it into curds, which are the solids, and whey, which are the liquids. The curds are then processed, salted, shaped, and sometimes aged. to make cheese. Cheddar cheese, England's most iconic cheese, comes from the village of Cheddar, as you'd probably imagined. It dates back to at least 12th century and was traditionally aged in the caves in the nearby Cheddar Gorge. The caves provided perfect humidity and temperature. I add a pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar, and a glug of, a splash more like, of milk. The milk helps you to have a better viscosity to spread your egg wash over your scones. The salt is for flavour and the sugar is to help with the colour. It adds a darker, richer colour because it has to caramelise the sugar in the oven. It's hard to imagine that cheddar cheese production first started in a time when Notre Dame Cathedral was being built. The Crusader armies from Europe set off towards the Levant to take Jerusalem. China was busy inventing, printing, and weaponizing gunpowder into bombs, rockets, and firearms. Ibn Rushd, also known as Averroes, was debating the deepest questions on reason, religion, and science from Islamic Spain. I was also really shocked to learn that the people of the Americas had never had cheese because they didn't have any dairy-producing animals. The thought hadn't crossed my mind. The only domesticated animals were llamas and alpacas, but they weren't widely used for milk, and so they didn't have any dairy traditions like in Europe. These cheddar cheese and red Leicester scones went down an absolute treat. The kids loved them, and I think I'm going to make them again, but this time I'm going to use a local cheese called Oxford Blue. Much fun was had in the park, even though it's still a little bit cold. But we had lovely, fresh scones, buttered, to keep us satisfied on our lovely walk. See you next time.